All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to turn that plant panic you might be feeling into some serious confidence. We are cracking the code on one of the most gorgeous, but let's be honest, notoriously tricky houseplants, the Fiddle Leaf Fig.
I mean, if you've got one of these, and they're not cheap, right? You have definitely asked this question. And probably with that little knot of dread in your stomach. You see those big, beautiful leaves just lying on the floor. It's the worst feeling.
Okay, but here's the thing, and this is our first big clue. That super dramatic leaf drop, it's not your plant just having a tantrum or being difficult. Nope, it's actually this really smart, highly evolved survival tactic. It's sending you a message, a really specific one.
So that's what we're doing today. We are going to turn you into a full-on plant detective. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how to read the evidence, figure out what's wrong, and, bring that fiddle leaf back from the brink.
Okay, so first things first. To solve any case, you gotta understand let's call it the victim. So what is the deal with this plant? Why does it have this reputation for being so darn sensitive?
Yeah, people call it the drama queen of the plant world. And honestly, they're not wrong. But that sensitivity, that's actually our biggest clue. See, this plant's native home is the super stable tropical climate of West Africa. So any change from that perfect environment feels like a huge 5-alarm threat to it.
And that brings us to a key concept here. This word, abscission. It's just the fancy scientific name for dropping leaves. Think of it like the plant's internal alarm system. When it senses danger or that things just aren't right, it jettisons leaves to save energy so it can survive. So see, it's not drama, it's pure survival strategy.
So what does that mean for us detectives? It means our investigation has to start right at the scene of the crime, which is the plant's immediate environment. This is where you'll find the most common culprits sending out that distress signal.
All right, we've got a lineup of 4 primary suspects. These are the usual culprits most likely responsible for making your fiddle leaf drop its leaves. Let's go through them one by one.
First up, suspect number 1, the cold draft. This is like the invisible killer. Fiddle leaves want things stable. Think 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. A sudden blast of cold air from a vent, an old window, even an open door, that is a massive shock to their system, and it can cause a whole bunch of dark, droopy leaves to drop, like overnight.
Okay, next suspect, the wrong light. This is a total Goldilocks situation, It has to be just right. Too much direct sun, and you'll literally burn the leaves. You'll see these bleached out white spots. But too little light is just as bad. That's when you get that yellowing, stretched out growth, and any new leaves that do appear are tiny and just sad.
And suspect number 3 is a biggie, relocation shock. Did you just bring your plant home, or maybe you just moved it to a new spot in the house? If you see it suddenly dropping perfectly healthy green leaves, that's a classic sign of stress from the change. It's just trying to acclimate.
So this table right here, this is basically your detective's case file. It's your cheat sheet. You can look at the symptoms your plant has, match it to one of our suspects, and boom, you know exactly what you need to do right now to fix it.
All right, deep breath. We're now moving on to the trickiest part of this whole investigation, the great watering mystery. This is, hands down, the #1 reason people struggle, and where most cases just go completely cold. So here's the million-dollar question. Is it overwatered or underwatered? It's what everyone asks. And the real problem is that the symptoms can look so similar. You think you're helping, but you might be giving it the exact wrong treatment, which of course just makes everything worse.
But don't worry, there are clues. And your single best piece of evidence is the location of the brown spots. Pay close attention here. If the spots are dry and crispy right at the tips or edges of the leaves, your plant is thirsty. But if you see dark brown spots appearing in the middle of the leaf or spreading out from the veins, that is screaming root rot. Big difference.
Next up, you gotta get your hands dirty. Literally. Feel the soil. Is it bone dry, like hard to the touch and pulling away from the sides of the pot? Okay, that's a clear case of underwatering. On the flip side, if the soil is always soggy, it feels waterlogged, and maybe it even smells a little musty, you've got an overwatering problem.
And here's our final clue to crack the watering case, the pattern of the leaf drop itself. A thirsty plant is kind of random about it. It'll drop leaves from the top, middle, bottom, all over. But an overwatered plant, it has a very specific MO. It starts dropping the oldest, lowest leaves first, and then the damage slowly creeps its way up the plant. Classic sign of root rot.
Okay, so you've looked at all the evidence, the spot location, the soil feel, the drop pattern, and the verdict is in, it's root rot. This is a plant emergency, code red. You need to act fast, and we've got an emergency protocol for you.
Now, this is going to feel a little like performing surgery, and it's intense, I get it, but this 3-step process is honestly the best shot you have at saving your plant. You have to get it out of that contaminated soil, use clean shears to trim away any roots that are brown and mushy, and then repot it in a clean pot with fresh soil. It's a total reboot.
And now for the hardest part. After that whole rescue mission, you have to be patient. I know it's tough, but your plant is not going to magically sprout new leaves tomorrow. For weeks, even up to a couple of months, it's putting all its energy into repairing its roots underground. So you gotta fight the urge to mess with it. Just let it heal.
Okay, so the crisis is over, we've saved the plant, now what? Well, now we set up a long-term health plan. This is how we go from being a frantic detective putting out fires to a proactive guardian who keeps the peace. We want this plant to thrive for the long haul. I want you to remember this number, 312. It's not a secret code, it's the ideal fertilizer ratio. During the growing season, you want a fertilizer with a 312 NPK ratio. That first number, the 3, is for nitrogen, and that's the secret sauce for getting those huge, lush, iconic fiddle leaves.
And finally, this is your simple checklist for long-term success. Following this is what turns that feeling of panic into just confident routine care. Give the plant a little spin every few weeks so it grows evenly. Gently wipe down the leaves so they can soak up all that light. And when you're cleaning, that's the perfect time to check for pests. But the big one, only water when that top inch or so of soil is actually dry. That consistency, that's what this plant really truly wants.
So, at the end of the day, just remember, your Fiddle Leaf Fig is always communicating with you. The clues are in its leaves, in the soil, even in the way it stands. And now that you know how to read those clues, you're not just some plant owner hoping for the best. You're an interpreter. You're ready to listen and give it exactly what it needs to thrive. Case closed.